New York Post reports Americans on food stamps may be banned from using them to buy sugary drinks and other junk food. Agricultural Secretary Brooke Rollins said on Friday. The newly appointed cabinet official said she'll work with Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency to prioritize food stamp benefits for healthy food items. Rollins told reporters, will we ever take food out of a hungry child's mouth? Of course not. This is the USA. Truly, this program has grown so large, especially in the last administration. Under Biden, I think it grew almost 30% more than before. That's the SNAP program, food stamps. We really need to look at where the money is going and what it's being spent on. So there's been a lot of controversy over this, as you can imagine, this news that the Trump administration might look to narrow down the types of food items that you can use your food stamps or your SNAP benefits on. But of course, this is exactly the right policy. Of course, people on food stamps should not be allowed to buy junk food with them. Well, they can buy it. I mean, they could buy junk food if they want, but they could buy it with their own money. Taxpayers should not be funding someone's junk food addiction, which is incredibly obvious. There really is no credible argument to the contrary, except just like a logistical argument about how you enforce this. But I think it's certainly feasible to enforce. If you have the will to enforce it, you can enforce it, and you should. And there needs to be a lot of reforms to these programs, obviously. You know, I think something like 40 million people are on food stamps, and that is, to me, clearly way too many. Okay, it tells us that these benefits are being doled out without enough vetting, and that food stamps and entitlements have become a lifestyle for millions of people rather than a temporary helping hand to get them through a tough time, which is how all of these programs were initially sold to the public. That's what they were supposed to be. But for a long time now, they've become a lifestyle. Do 40 million people need food stamps? And when I say need, I mean if we got rid of food stamps, if we got rid of SNAP, would 40 million people starve to death because of it? Are food stamps the thing preventing the mass starvation of 40 million people? Does anyone really believe that? Not if you have 5 brain cells, you don't believe that. So there are too many people on the program, and the program is not nearly restrictive enough in terms of what you can use it to purchase. And in terms of food, it should provide for basic nutrition. It should not provide for any food that has zero nutritional value. Again, this is obvious. And there are a lot of those kinds of foods out there. Which, speaking of which, and this is, I mean, this was all really just a setup for me to talk about this, which is that I needed some sort of a segue because I've been very troubled by this. The other day I was at the store. I was at Walmart, actually, and I saw a woman buying something that I didn't know existed. It was my first, I had never become acquainted with this product, but there was a woman buying a bottle of Skittles juice. Okay. Now, I'm not saying she was using SNAP to pay for it. Maybe she was. That wouldn't surprise me. But I don't know. That I don't know. I'm just saying, in terms of junk food, just to show you how bad it is out there, if you didn't already know, Skittles juice, that's a thing. Or I think, and I looked this up later because I was like, I make sure my eyes weren't deceiving me. No, it's real. Yeah, this is a real thing. Skittles rolled it out very recently, actually. Just in 2024, they rolled out their Skittles, their line of Skittles drinks. And so it is technically Skittles drink, not Skittles juice, because it's not juice. I mean, they can't legally call it juice because there were definitely no fruits involved in the making of this concoction. There was no fruit within a 50-mile radius of whatever factory they used to make this sludge. Like, this stuff was, even just the color of it is not, it's like this neon, it looks like it was harvested from the Chernobyl nuclear reactor core or something like that. I mean, it's the color of the liquid isn't even on the color spectrum. There's nothing natural about any of it. It's not food. It's not even a real color. I don't know what that is. And yet people buy this stuff. They buy it on purpose in public where we can all see them doing it. And this woman had no shame about it either. She was actually talking to her. I mean, this makes it even worse. She had her kid with her. I think she was buying it for her kid. I don't know. But she was talking, oh, you get the Skittles drink. Openly discussing it. No shame. I don't know. I would rather drink from the punch bowl at the People's Temple than drink Skittles drink. I would rather drink nothing ever again. I would rather die of thirst. If I was dying of thirst in the desert and somebody came up and said, and I hadn't had a drink in a week and I'm on death's door, and they offered me a bright neon red Skittles drink, I'd say no thank you. I'd rather die of thirst than die of diabetes. So I would rather drink straight from a river in Indonesia than drink a Skittles drink. But this is what people are consuming. And then we wonder why there's an obesity epidemic. And we're told that it's a thyroid problems and hormonal problems, and that's all it is. Meanwhile, people are out here guzzling liquid Skittles. There are people who have decided that regular candy Skittles require too much effort to consume. They're burning too many calories eating Skittles because they have to chew them. And that's too much exercise. And so they need a more convenient, a lower effort delivery mechanism for Skittles. And that's why they're drinking it now. People joke about this, but we are seriously one step away from intravenous Skittles. Okay, that's where this goes next. A Skittles flavored IV drip is where you're going to see people, morbidly obese people, on scooters with an IV drip of neon green Skittles going right into their arm. That's what's happening next. And people are going to look at that and still say, "Oh, they must have a hormone problem. Her thyroid. What it's terrible. It's all the thyroid there." Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, food stamps. I don't know. Can you use SNAP to buy a Skittles drink? Probably, right? This has already happened probably thousands of times. Should that be allowed? Clearly not. Hey, YouTube, thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like access to my full show with no ads, you should go to dailywire.com and use promo code Walsh to get 2 months free on all annual plans. See you there.